Hi and welcome to Into the Kitchen with me, Chef Cynthia Louise. Let's talk about sugar and what that actually means to you at home. And I'm going to give you my perspective on what it means to me in my home, in my kitchen, and in my body. It's a really cool subject, and it's something that we've got to discuss moving forward in this incredible life that we're in and this bodies that we're in, because it's just extraordinary how we get to live in this body. Let's not judge you here, but you do love sugar, right?
I do like sugar.
Yep.
I love it.
I love sugar too.
Yep.
I love something sweet when I'm getting my period, or if I'm not feeling that great, right? I'm getting my, is it PMS? Whatever it is. I want to have some sort of sweetener. I want to have some sort of sweets that are going to satiate me, but also hit the spot and make me feel, I call it a little bit buzzed. And that's what can happen with sugar. So, look what I have here. Dun, 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 dun. What's really cool about this subject is, I'm not going to get into the science of it. I'm not interested in the science of it. You can go and Google that somewhere else. But I'm interested in how I feel when I eat it. And I'm particularly interested in my son, Jamin. And Jamin, if you're watching, you're an amazing human being. And there was a point where you were addicted to sugar. And I saw that. And it was a really interesting time in your life. And it was a really interesting time in my life as a mum. You just wanted something sweet. And the more I took it from you, the more you snuck it in. I don't know how you did it, mate, but I remember under your bed, there were all these wrappers. I don't know where you got the money from. But I remember the addictive nature of smacking up sugar. And the reason why I do that is because it is like that feeling. It's like crack cocaine. It really is. And a little tiny human being like Jamin, when he was like just bordering on teenage years, or even before, that little tiny little body and organs of his were being hit hard by this stuff here, in all the sweets and isms that you can find. So I want to start you off with what this stuff is. And it's a very interesting subject. And what I've got on the table here is, actually I'll do it this way, might be easier. I've got brown sugar. We know with brown sugar when we're making cookies, or a lot of mums out there in the world and grandmas used to always get that brown sugar to make, whisk the butter and the sugar and the egg to make like a batter.
Yeah, my mum did too.
To put the flour in, right? Da-da-da-da-da. And then we've got what we call raw sugar, or just simply white sugar. And then what we've called here, which is called, it's so light and fluffy, this is caster sugar. I mean, look at it. And this brick of solid powder, look at how powdery this is icing sugar. So if we go back to the sugar cane, let's do that, okay? Pretend I'm a sugar cane and I'm standing nice and proud. Do I look like a sugar cane? Yeah, totally. I'm standing nice and proud, and I come along and a human cuts it, right? And we juice it. And it's this muddy kind of, when I mean muddy, like maybe this colour here, like a puddle of...
A bit like a ginger ale
like
colour, right?
Like a ginger ale colour, exactly. I call it like a muddy, kind of light muddy watercolour.
Yeah.
And it's quite fascinating. And we take that liquid and we do something quite extraordinary to it. Something happens in that process. So can you imagine that liquid being dried naturally? Okay, look back down here. Do you think this has been dried naturally? No, it hasn't.
It's all been refined.
Right, so I'm going to put that aside. So we take that sugar cane and we juice it. Check this out. And we dry it naturally. And we get this. Look at this. This is rapadura sugar. This has all the parts. This has all the parts of what nature is. This is exactly what comes out of a sugar cane, and then it's dried and it looks like this. Sugarcane juice is the least refined, but this is dried, and look at it.
Yeah.
This is what, if you're into sugar, cane sugar, this is what you want to swap over, what you're putting in your coffee and teas, in any of your drinks and any of your cooking, if you're into cane sugar, because this is fantastic. I love it. It's amazing, okay? It has this kind of molasses smell to it. It reminds me of my childhood. Back in my childhood, when I used to go to Cairns, Queensland and Queensland, Australia, my uncle's farm, where he used to have horses, I used to sit under the molasses tank and drink the molasses and lick it out of the tap. Seriously, I would just be... Well, this stuff here is just pure juice that's been dried. So it's just got all its glory in there. So if we take this, right, this is what I want you guys to think about at home. This is just a moment in time. If you want to look up the science of it all, go for it. I'm not interested. I'm interested in the way they take it from that colour to this colour. That's what's fascinating to me. That fascinates me. Like, how the do they go from there to this? Now, some say it has bone char in it to get it super white. Bone char is just the bones of animals to get it super white, okay? Some say there's not much processing at all. It's just boiled down and the crystals become such and such. Yeah, don't know. I'm not in the sugar factory to watch, right? And Google, yeah, you know, whatever. And some say there's a whole lot of bleaching agents in it, and there's all these sorts of chemicals and these anti-caking agents and isms in there. Interesting, right? And then how we get it to a really pounded, really white, like this is like snow really, isn't it? It's like really, really, really fine. How do we get it from there to there? Is it just grinded down? I don't know, right? And then how do we get, and then here we go, then we've got the crystals, and some say this is just the molasses boiled out of it. Some say, I love the word some say, this is where we're not in the sugar factory, where we go online and then we find information and then we judge, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stand here and go, some say we just boil the molasses out of it and we get this, and some say we do a whole lot else more to it. And brown sugar, like I said before, is just this white sugar with the molasses in it. Does that make sense? So this brown sugar is caster sugar with the molasses poured back in it, and that's why it's quite sticky. Remember when you open a bag of brown sugar, it's quite sticky, it's just the molasses poured back in it. So when I eat something like this, say this powdered white sugar, when I have it, let me just get a sieve, when I have it like if I buy a brownie, and I have this, look at this powder. I have this beautiful, look at this white snow on my brownie. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And then I'm having this in my brownie. Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like shit. And I can only explain it like how I feel. I feel my heart races. I feel uncomfortable. I feel sluggish afterwards. I feel like I've hit a high and then I'm crashing. I feel cranky and a little bit moody. So that's me, Cynthia, as an adult that kind of is really aware of her body. Now, let's take Jamin, my son, for instance, back when he was little. He's got no idea. He has no concept of the 78 organs in his body. He's not tuned in for how he feels in the moment. He's just like eating that brownie with all that sugar in it and eating that brownie with that beautiful white snow on the top. And he's loving it and it's satiating for him. And it hits his body, and then an hour later, or within the hour, he's a little he's intense. He's bouncing off the walls, and I'm killing myself thinking I'm a bad mother because he's in a position where I don't understand, but I'm not doing the right thing, and then I'm yelling at him, then he's in timeout, and the story goes on, right? So what I do in my home is I take this stuff away. I don't buy anything with this in it. No products with this in it. No packaged up processed products with this in it. I do not go near it. I go over here and I sweeten things up with either a little bit of rapadura sugar, or I use any kind of dry fruit I can or want to or love to use. I love the use of maple syrup. Look at this. This is just beautiful. I love, because I'm in Indonesia, I've got some palm nectar, which is completely different to palm oil. Look at this. I love this. And I also love honey. Okay? So my home has this in it. And what I want to help you guys transition into that is by waking up and actually reading what's in products, because I know we're busy and I know we've got kids and I know we've got to rush out to our jobs early in the morning, put our kids in the car, make their lunches, run them to school, and we're just going to go to the supermarket and buy whatever we think's healthy, right, for them, for their lunchbox. So my thing is that instead of buying all the processed stuff and all the things with a high amount of sugar in it, like this, I'm going to put sugar, sweetener, in its whole form like this in his lunchbox, okay? And he's going to get used to it over time, and something will happen to him, especially Jamin, and I can only talk on Jamin's behaviour. Something shifted in him when he ate whole real food. What I love to do in my my cooking classes, especially the sweet tooth cooking classes. This is a class that is celebrating your sweet tooth naturally without feeling like you're going without. It's all the muffins and the cakes and the cupcakes and all the things, and the caramel slices and all the bits and pieces are all in there. And they're all sweetened, not with this stuff, with this stuff. And what I teach you is how to balance two sugars together. So what's really cool with some of my desserts, I'm putting maple and dates together, or I'm putting honey and maple together, or I'm putting sultanas or currants or whatever it might be, and I'm mixing it up with another sweetener in its whole form. And what I find is that my body loves it. I still feel satiated. I still feel like, it's really yummy. Oh, yum, yum, yum. And I still feel that feeling of, this is just freaking epic that I can have a chocolate cake or a caramel slice or ice cream like this. And I know that as I'm eating it, it's doing exactly what it's designed to do, okay? A lot of people say to me, but it's still sugar. Yeah, cool, still sugar, whatevers, but this, it's got to somehow, my organs have got to deal with that. And I don't know how that is even possible, okay? That is the gig. I have no idea how my organs deal with that. So I'm going to put it aside. This beautiful stuff over here, my organs know exactly what to do with this, because it's in its whole form, it's from nature. Does that make sense? So I encourage you, as a mum, and to the dads out there and families out there, and even if you're single, to really look at the products you're buying and to really make a decision. Do I have time to look after my health? And am I worth looking after? Because that's the question you need to ask yourself. And if I do have time to look after my health, then I do have time to buy the right things that's going to serve all the organs in my body. And that is the beauty of living in this body, in this time and space reality now. It's a magical time to be on the planet. It's a beautiful time to really sink into nature, because really that's where we're a part of. We're not a part of that. That there is human genius over here. It has the ability to do something to the body that I really am not interested in playing around with, but I know science is fabulous and fantastic, and I'm not going to put it down, but I'm going to sit it over there and I'm going to stand where I originally came from, which is nature. And it's a beautiful place to be. And it takes time, and it takes a love affair with your organs to step into that. And once you do, just like me, even if I'm not in a chef's uniform, I'm just a mum at home, this is my value system, and it took time to get there. So I love you guys, and I hope that helps you. But from my perspective, in my organs, inflammation around my heart, inflammation around my organs from eating anything like this over here, this sugar storm, is not a way forward for my organs. It's just not. Eating food from nature is absolutely a way forward. It allows my body to do what it's designed to do, and it's a beautiful thing. Keep it simple, okay? Don't be messaging me saying, oh yeah, but it's the same thing. It's actually not. This over here is toxic. It does something to the body. It's human genius here. Science, amazing, amazing. This over here is what we're designed to be. This is spectacular. This is exactly what we're supposed to have. It's exactly what we're supposed to do. I love you, Jamin, if you're watching. He was so addicted to sugar. It's such a great thing, because I know how it feels. And it took time to get him off it too. He would throw that freaking thing across the wall. He was just like angry. Taking sugar away from a child is like taking heroin away from a drug addict. It is exactly the same thing, and it's what I witnessed in my son. So be mindful of what we're giving ourselves first, and be mindful of what we're giving our family, because we want to live a beautiful life, and we want to be jumping up and down when we're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We don't want to be compromised. So I love you, and thanks for showing up, and I'll see you guys online. Bye.